Looking for inspiration? We have 3 fun, easy photo shoots for you. The first one's going to be a sunset shoot using a strobe. The second one is going to be a water drop shoot that's super fun. And the last one is a night shoot for when you want to change the mood. I want beautiful sunset lighting, but it's midday and it's foggy, so that's not going to happen. But if you just use a strobe with a light orange gel, you can get a sunset effect. So we're going to put it behind these trees. Girls, can you sit on this right here? We'll have them sit there. We'll point the light through the trees and at them like it's a low, beautiful, warm sunset. And we'll play around with the light until we get something that we think looks beautiful.
I'll go hide this in the woods.
Go.
We love natural light when the weather's right, but a wireless strobe can really save a photo shoot.
It's good to experiment with where the light is in your shot. You might want it going through some trees. You might want something in the way to obstruct the light a little bit. You definitely don't want it so bright that it's overpowering your subject. So play around with the light's placement and strength to get a look that looks perfect to you.
I have a trick in my bag too.
This is a 2-in-1 with the 8th generation Intel Core i7 processor.
It solves a problem that's really common to portrait photographers, which is the need to constantly show the latest pictures to the model. And I have everything coming from that camera mirroring over here, so I can just set this up so the girls can see exactly what's happening. And that helps the model be able to pose and work the light.
1 foot towards me.
Intel sent us this 2-in-1 as part of our partnership, and the wireless tethering helped everyone instantly see the results of the strobe.
And step out just like 1 full step. There you go. Thank you. Take 2 steps back. Yeah, and now step towards me. Good.
Seriously, once you try wireless tethering, you'll never again want to show pictures on the back of your camera.
So you can see the way the light is hitting your hair. That looks really nice. You might want to pull your arms out a little bit.
Okay. So I'm looking at my pictures and they look nice. I like the golden light. I'm getting some strange shadows on her face, so I'm going to try to use another light and fill the light on her face a little bit. You can use a reflector or a light or whatever you have. Now you can see I'm still getting that beautiful backlighting like it's sunset, but I'm filling her face enough that she's the real star of the show here. Like hands down, like you're leaping over a puddle. Ready?
Asking your models to jump doesn't just add motion, it helps them relax.
Yeah, do that again with your hand through your hair. Yeah, but put your eyes towards me. Yeah.
I brought all this stuff, but you know what I forgot? Bug spray. Mosquitoes are everywhere.
Right. I hear it's gonna come in. We gotta get out of here right now. It's gonna rain. I hear thunder. Let's move.
It is now officially pouring and we had to take shelter underneath a tree. We got absolutely soaked. It started pouring so hard at the end of the shoot, but we have a nice rainy day thing planned for indoors next. Let's go try it out.
A perfect project for a rainy or cold day or water droplet photos. They're easy to do. You just need a flash, some extension tubes so that you can go macro, and a tin of water and something to drop a water droplet into that tin. So what we did here is we set up the tin of water and we drop the dropper of water into the pan. And to make sure that we have the water droplet in the right place so that we can focus, we found this screw. We put it in the water and you drop it to make sure it's in the right spot. And once it is, you focus on the screw in your photo because that's where your water droplet's going to be. Because it would be very difficult to try to focus on the droplet once it's already dropped. So this is a good way to do that. I have my shutter speed as high as it can go with my flash, which is 1/250th. The light is going to freeze the motion of the droplet.
Keep your flash output as low as possible so your flash duration is short. Don't use high-speed sync.
Oh yeah, we got some nice photos. If your picture's out of focus, you might need some more depth of field, so you might need to up your aperture. If it's at 2.8, you might have to go to 5.6. So you'll have to play with your settings a bit and see what looks good. Well, let's try that again. And it's really just trial and error, so you'll keep dropping and shooting and dropping and shooting, and you'll have a lot of pictures, and somewhere in there you'll have something that speaks to you that's beautiful. And once you get down the technique of actually freezing the motion of the water, you can kind of start to have fun and make it more interesting. I have a gel at the bottom of this pan, blue, and that's where the blue color on the water droplet is coming from. So let me try again. And I'm tethered here so that I can make sure that my photos are perfectly sharp and that they're composed the way that I want them. It just makes it easier when you see a big screen. The depth of field looks good. They look sharp. And I'm just gonna add this gel to the flash and add some yellow light on the water and see what effect that gets. Everything's getting really wet, so if you want to do this outside, if it's a nice day, you can do that too. If you don't have gels, some people use food coloring in the water that they're dropping to get different effects. I mean, it doesn't look the same as a gel, but you're adding color.
Here, I use the 2-in-1's keyboard so I could quickly flip between photos.
So now you can see the photos have some yellow highlights in them. There's a more aqua look to it. Definitely changes the mood of the photo.
Get creative by changing the lights, gels, background, and using liquids like cream. Here, I make a mountain skyline from gels and cardboard to create an artistic landscape background.
This is a fun project because there's a lot of experimentation you can do. You can get different results from anyone else by changing any little part of the setup, and it's easy to do too.
The world is beautiful at night, and photographing it can be amazing. All you really need are a camera and a tripod.
One thing about shooting at night is you have to know your camera really well. You're shooting in the dark and you probably don't want to turn on a bright light. Know your camera. ISO 1000. No, man. If you're shooting a long exposure, make sure you have a steady tripod and make sure it's on steady ground. A moving dock or an unstable piece of ground is going to rock your camera enough to ruin your shot. I am shooting at my base ISO to make sure I have minimal noise. My aperture is at 5.6, that I don't have too shallow of the depth of field, and my shutter speed is slow because I'm getting a long exposure, so it's like 7 seconds, but I'm moving it even towards the slower side as I shoot. 10 seconds, and I'll keep going from there. A lot of people think the difficult part of shooting at night is the exposure because it's dark, but really the most difficult part is focusing.
Yep, that's us.
Pretty important thing, making sure you can actually be at the spot you're shooting, because right now a patrol vehicle is going by. I'm gonna just turn off my camera and see if maybe they won't notice me. I think they're gonna notice me.
Yes.
Park's closed, you can't be here.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're just doing night photography.
Yeah, I know, still. It's closed.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll head out. That is something you get used to with night photography, is getting chased out of places. It just, people think it's suspicious when you do stuff at night. What now, Chelsea? Do we find another spot or give up for the night?
It's tough because if it's too dark, you don't get a good photo, but we could go location scouting.
See what we can find.
All right. Ew, what is it?
We just saw an animal or something dart through. I don't know. It was kind of creepy. Stuff can get scary.
We got kicked out of the park, so we came down under this bridge to get some long exposures, and we have these beautiful 3 lines of the bridge and the moon, so I'm gonna try to get all of them in the shot.
I'm using our 2-in-1 to make sure everything is perfectly in focus. I can even recover highlights and shadows on location, so I'm sure I nailed the exposure.
If you want to tether while you're taking pictures, make sure you have a fast enough processor.
I hope these 3 projects inspired you to get creative. For more, be sure to subscribe. If you want to learn more about the laptop we used and Intel's latest processor, check the link in the description below.